In this tutorial, we'll cover the simple process of linking the services defined within Easypost to your Infigo storefront. We'll also learn how to enable and disable specific services, along with applying additional settings such as a price uplift for a particular service. So our Easypost plugin supports the ability for Easypost to control the services and the shipping rates that you display to your customers as part of the checkout workflow. The rates that are returned are calculated based on a number of factors. So it could be the items being ordered and thus the parcel sizes and number of parcels required to fulfill the shipping requirements, the originating address of where you are producing the parcels and the carrier will be collecting them from, the shipping address of where the parcel is being shipped to. So this is taken from the shipping address information entered by the customer during the checkout process. And it can also include the negotiated rates that you have configured against your carrier accounts that you have linked to in your Easypost account itself. So let's start off within Easypost itself. The first thing we want to do is navigate to our carrier accounts. So if I click on my email address to bring up the additional settings, and I'm going to go to carrier accounts. As we discussed in a previous tutorial, you have your list of available carriers displayed here, and you have the ability to add additional carriers if you need to do so. And this will basically require you to enter your account information with that particular carrier. So that might be an account number, address information, various other bits and pieces. So next we're going to learn how to select which services we want to offer within our Infigo storefront itself. So let's start off by navigating to the Connect plugin screen. And then configuring our Easypost plugin. And we'll begin by navigating to the General section. Now, the reason I'm stopping here to begin with is there's a couple of settings we need to be aware of, and these primarily are the signature and Saturday delivery sections. So starting off with signature, this is a drop-down that allows you to decide if you want to include services to your customers that require a signature. So you have three options to choose from here. You've got none, so no services requiring a signature will be returned. You've got required, so only services requiring a signature will be shown. And you've got optional, so all services will be shown, both requiring and not requiring a signature. You've also got Saturday delivery, so that's very similar to the signature setting. It is a drop-down that allows you to decide if you want to include services that deliver on a Saturday. So they've got the same three options as with the signature. Also in here, the general section, you have the rate type. So within our Easypost plugin, we provide you with the option to choose which rates you offer to your end customers. And this allows you to choose between three options. We have rate, retail rate, and list rate. So just to briefly describe what they are, rate is the actual quote rate for this service on that specific carrier account. That usually includes any discounts or pre-arranged negotiated rates. We've then got the retail rate. So the retail rate is the in-store rate given when no account is used. And then we've got the list rate. So this list rate is a non-negotiated rate given when you have an account with the carrier. So this essentially allows you to control which rate you want to offer to your end users, and knowing the rates that you will pay the carrier allows you to determine how much profit you want to make on the service. So with that out of the way, let's navigate a bit further down to the carriers and services section. And what you'll see in here is that by default, all services are available for all of your linked carriers. So you can see in my case, for example, in our Easypost account, we've got US Postal Service, we've got DHL, and I've got a FedEx account linked in there as well. And if I come over to Infigo, I have those three carriers. Selecting on the carrier will show me all of their associated available services. So again, by default, all services are available for all of your linked carriers. You will be required to work through this list of carriers and manage the services that you want to offer to your clients. And the reason we have to do this is due to the information we receive via the Easypost API. So for example, if I go to the US Postal Service, you can see here I've already changed a few of these settings. Let's say, for example, that we want to amend the options here for media mail. I can go to the edit icon on the right-hand side, and that will give me some additional service configurations for this particular service. So let's walk through a few of these options. To start off with, we have enabled for checkout and enabled for MIS. So enabled for checkout allows you to decide if this service should be shown to the end customer during the checkout process with the Easypost Live Rate. So this is also determined if you have Easypost Live Rates enabled or not. And then we have enabled for MIS. So this determines whether or not you want to allow mapping of an Infigo shipping method to this service. It will not be shown to the customer in the front end. And then we also have the friendly name that allows you to customize the name of the service that's shown to the end customer. So let's say, for example, in this case, we don't want the enabled for MIS. And then I'll come down to a few of these other options just to explain what they are. So bunching these two together, we have additional classes and we have order. So additional classes, if you wish to control the styling of each service, you can add a custom CSS class name here, and it will be appended in the DOM, allowing you to control specific styling to specific services. And then we also have the order. This is simply the display order of this service as it will appear in the checkout. So lower values do come first. So for example, if I wanted this to appear first, I can just go for a number 1. Coming down a bit further, we have additional shipping fee information. So there is a storefront-wide setting for this as well that we'll cover in a different tutorial, but it pretty much does exactly the same thing. We allow you to add an uplift to the returned rate from Easypost. So these settings allow you to control this on a service-by-service basis. And then finally on here, we have the service-specific options. So this should only really be used with advice of our support team. So if you do need some specific service options added, which is information that you can get from within Easypost itself, please do get in touch with our support team. Bear in mind as well that new services can be added using the Add Services button. Most of the options here are exactly the same as we saw in the previous screen, but we now actually have the ability to input the service name specifically. So that's our carriers and services configured. Now, before we can actually go into the front end of our storefront and simulate this process, we do need to input some additional vendor info. So if we scroll down to the vendor info section, So this acts as a source for the outgoing parcel, giving Easypost the information it needs to accurately calculate your shipping costs. So I've just put a sample address in there, which has been pre-populated. And then I'm just going to go to the top of the screen and make sure I save those settings. So now we'll go ahead and simulate placing an order. So we're going to navigate to our storefront first of all. And all I've done here is navigated to a particular product and added that to my basket. And I'm now sitting in my cart waiting for the checkout. So please do note that there are additional settings for Easypost that we've not yet configured. So to test the connection with Easypost at this stage, it's best to have a sample product set up with a few details defined. So things such as the weight and the dimensions of that particular parcel, which can both be found in the product's variant settings. As we saw in a previous tutorial, also ensure that you've enabled the Easypost plugin as one of your possible delivery methods. And that's done in the delivery computation area. So if I just go ahead through my checkout, input or select a billing and shipping address, you may find that this loading next steps option will appear. It may take a few seconds to progress to the next screen, and this is as Infigo is querying Easypost for the available services and rates. Available services, along with their rates that they're going to charge, will be displayed and can be selected by the end user as part of the checkout process. Simply select the service that they want to use and click on Continue.